Did you ever shoot in 4K 60, and did you notice if it is sharper to you compared to the C70?
Yeah, all of the 4K resolutions in the C80 will be sharper from my experience from testing, because it's taking a 6K sensor and downscaling it to 4K. So it's noticeably sharper all the way across the board.
Griffin, when do we crop into the sensor? At what frame rates?
So in 4K we don't. Yeah, it's full frame the whole time. And then in 6K it's 4K 120 is full frame with amazing autofocus. And then in 6K it's 6K 24 and 6K 30. But if you want 6K 60, you need to crop into Super 35.
Gotcha. And does it stop at 60?
It stops at 60, yeah, in RAW.
Okay. All right, next question. This one is from Scott.
How much better would you say the C80 is over the C70 with a percentage rating? Ooh, Scott's getting...
This is Scott. This is what we would
20%.
20%.
20%. Now, what's the price difference percentage?
Mm-hmm.
Less than 20%.
It's, oh man, is it 20%? I didn't mean to do that.
I
think the ones C70 is 4,500, C80s 5,500. So it's like 1,000 more.
It depends how you value full frame.
I think that's it. Full frame and the upgrade to 6K for that sharpness.
Yes.
Right. All right, next question.
Is the 6K only available in RAW, or is it available in intra-frame long gap?
6K is only in RAW, and I think the reason they did that, from what I heard, it actually takes more to compress it down to something small, and that's kind of like why the R5 would overheat. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but yeah, short answer is it does 6K in RAW only, and then you can do 4K in like the smaller long GOP or all-I XFABC.
Yeah, I can confirm. So here you go, Canon fan people. So I have an R3, and it shoots 6K, but only in RAW as well. And that's because it's actually easier for the card to actually write RAW directly to the card, because it doesn't have to actually do any processing. Once you actually start processing, that's when you start running into like overheating issues, card issues, data speeds, that kind of stuff. So RAW is actually easier for the camera, but then it becomes, my understanding, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that then it's just more processing on your computer. So you're just choosing to let your camera do less work by recording in RAW, but you can get more. And then when you get it over to your computer has to do more of the heavy lifting.
This might be an unanswerable question, but from what I understand about RAW, how can you do a cropped in 6K 60? Isn't RAW like...
It doesn't. I think that's a good question. I think it goes to 4K when it's in. No, it will. Oh yeah. Hang on. Should we find it out real quick?
I don't. It's something that I've been thinking through when they said 6K RAW, 6K 60, but it crops in. And that was like, that seems like maybe that isn't RAW, or are they doing something to that?
So I'll let him.
Brandon. Shut up, Brandon. Let the man speak. We don't need no Canon hate.
It might not really be.
We don't need no Canon.
Okay.
We don't need no Canon hate.
It's not hate. I'm just giving my experience as a red shooter who shoots a lot of RAW and knows how RAW works and the red workflow, which is real RAW. But no, you're totally cool. So yeah, I'll let.
Okay. So for RAW, it jumps down to 4K, and then you can go to 60 frames. So it's 4368 by 2304.
So if you want 6K 60, you have to buy the C400.
Correct. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
That's good to know.
Breaking news on Uncensored. Here you guys go.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
No hate, just trying to educate. You know what I mean?
Starlight? Go up to, yeah.
Okay.
What role does the R5C play in Canon's lineup now that they have a full frame C80 and C400?
Yeah, so I have one, and I kind of wanted to sell that camera, like as maybe like, because I need to probably sell like two cameras to get the C80 and the C400. and I was like trying to think, okay, which one's on the chopping block here? The thing I use the R5C for, it's the smallest full frame sensor in a body that does not have in-body image stabilization. So that's a really weird set of features, but that's a set of features that I need. So like we shot this big project for Fox Suspension, and I was hard mounting the camera, and you don't want to stabilize sensor because it makes all your footage blurry when there's a lot of high frequency vibrations. So like anytime you see guys mounting cameras to cars, it's almost always a non-stabilized sensor like the R5C. Mm-hmm. So that's what I need it for. So yeah, that's the role I have for it. And if you also want like a camera that can shoot good video, you know, more like shorter clips, you don't need to worry about battery life so much, but also you want photo too, you know, that's what I would say.
Griffin says buy them all.
Buy
them all.
He did not tell us.
I know.
Be like Griffin. Buy everything.
Buy it all. All right. Next question. Have you considered switching to RF lenses versus adapted EF lenses? If so, which lenses have your immediate attention?
Yeah, so I have like the full kit of EF lenses, basically like primes, like 24, 35, 50, 85, 100, and then pretty much all the zooms. So I still have them, and I'm pretty hard on the gear. So I like my EF lenses. They're not going anywhere. But the RF lenses, it's when they come out with like focal lengths and apertures that haven't been done before that they're really interesting to me, like the 24 to 105, 2.8, and it's internal zoom. So like there's a few RF lenses that I want to add to my kit. Another one's the 100 to 500. I'm probably going to get that one soon just because like that doesn't exist in EF.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because, like, I mean, I think they are remaking their existing EF lenses into RF, and I think that's mostly for people who are already existing, like, or I guess new RF shooters.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's a really good way to look at it because, I mean, like, I have my 100 macro into EF, and I have a 50 1.2, and like, the RFs just don't, like, I'm just like, why am I rebuying the exact same lens I already have? But it is like, you know, it does look like they are making some like video focused zooms, like the one you just mentioned, that those pique my interest more than anything else.
Canon is innovating, it feels like.
Yes.
Not to do too much praise, but like the 24 to 105.
Now, to do too much praise.
I'm just saying, sometimes I feel like I'll say like things that sound like I'm blowing smoke, but it's actually like the 24 to 105, 2.8, the 28 to 70, f2. I'm not really hot on the 35, but I'll take one. But
yeah,
not really. But yeah, the ones that they haven't done before, pretty excited about.
All right, here's a question from RJ. He says, have you experienced any overheating issues? Again, I came late. Sorry if this was answered already. It was
You're
not.
good, RJ.
Very short answer. Yeah, no, there's no overheating.
You said, no.
I ran it. We just went to the desert. It was 109, and I put the camera on, and we were recording, and I think we recorded for like 3 hours straight, and it was literally 109. So it's not going to overheat.
That's awesome.
That is really good. Especially, I find that like here in Texas, like we have to do our own overheating test because like most people don't actually account for like our climate. But I mean, you said 100 and what?
It was 109 in direct sun.
Take that, Sony.
I mean, if it's hotter than that, I mean, I don't know. Do you really want to shoot there?
No, that's too hot for me anyway.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Sony.
Right.
Okay, we're not asking you to lie. We're just asking you. You got to say everything you're thinking. All right, next question. Do you think there will still be a C70 Mark II?
So I should say I don't know anything at all. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I'm guessing, but my guess would be I could see them coming out with the C70 Mark II. Canon's really good at coming out with a new camera that's always both better and worse than the existing cameras. And they'll find a set of features and sensor, maybe it has DJO and 17 stuff. Like, who knows? Like, I don't know. Again, I'm guessing. I don't know anything. So
he's not under any NDAs right now, guys. Wish he was.
Yeah. I would just say no comment if I was under NDA.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Honestly, I don't think so. It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm here for it.
You're here for a C70 Mark II right now?
I am, because I feel like they could fix the issues. Well, it's tough.
They did it.
Well, they did, but are we saying crop is dead? Super 35's dead?
No, it's
In the
the
film?
camera.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
just crop in.
But in the film, for filmmakers, are we saying Super 35's dead?
No, I'm not saying Super 35 is dead, but I think Canon's doing the same thing that Red did with the Raptor, which is like you make a full frame camera and then you have a really solid Super 35 sensor or Super 35 mode in the camera.
Why is my headphones? Brandon, we need for sheer dominance.
God.
We need an FX3 competitor.
That's full frame. Yes.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is, I think that we can do Super 35, and I think that we can hold on.
Okay.
We could do internal ND, keep HDMI. I don't know if you can make it smaller because that sounds like we're just asking for too much. But I think if we could bring the prices closer, I think we got something.
I think is what makes the FX3 that everybody loves is the size. It is the size.
Yes. 100%.
So
Right.
I don't think that's a C70. I think that is a better R5C. I think you can get an R5C.
That's fair.
And then make that camera.
That's fair.
But that's not going to be a C70 Mark II, which is why I'm saying the C70 Mark II, I think is dead. I think you did it. You gave us a C80. You're fine. Make a really good R5C Mark II or an R1C and make that the camera that's in the cinema line. Just figure out the battery thing. Whatever you got to do, figure out the battery thing. And if they can put internal NDs, then yeah, they will have pure dominance. I will go on record saying that right now.
Pure dominance.
Unless Sony does it first.
If they can come down one more price point step, and to be fair, that does sound like the R5C, so I'll give that to you. If they can come down one more price step and just murder and not overheat and not have battery problems, the FX3 figured it out.
It is what you're saying.
The FX3 no. Don't Sony it.
I'm just messing. I have no dog in this fight.
If they did, oh my gosh.
All right, let's blitz
Sony
through
who?
some of these last questions really quick because they are coming up pretty quick. All right, let's knock these out. All right, here we go from Christopher.
How is it better than the R5C or the R5 Mark II? I'm debating getting another R5C or the R5 Mark II, but this changes things.
Yeah, it depends how much video you do. If you're a video focused shooter, like they're not even close, in my opinion, respectfully. Like those are cool cameras, but like I have the R5C and my buddy Tucker just got the R5 II. Dude, they're amazing. Autofocus is so snappy on the R5 II. Shoots C-Log 2 internal, which is amazing. But just the fact that it can overheat. It can overheat in some circumstances. That's something I won't think about. So like I won't be on a shoot where it's 109 and I got to think like, dude, oh man, how many minutes until this is going to be? I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So that for me just makes it like a no-go. It makes it a camera that I'll use. I mean, I want that camera too. But, it's a camera that I would use for like social media or something like that, where you're shooting some stills, you're shooting video, but anything where I like have to get a shot, I wouldn't do it. So same with the R5C as well. Just that camera won't overheat, but the battery life thing, it makes it where it's not like my first one I pick up. I don't want to think about the battery every 45 minutes.
Good answer.
Gotta live in Greenland.
All right, here we go. Next one.
Griffin, like you, I love the durable build of Canon cameras. How's the weatherproofing on the C400 as a C70 owner? Brandon, I didn't know you own a C70. Thanks for all your content.
Dude, for a second, I thought you were talking about me. I was like, what? I forgot. I was like, go ahead.
I know where we connect, Brandon.
Yeah, weatherproofing, we'll find out is the short answer. I'll put it through some abuse. I don't have either of the cameras that I own yet, so I want to be respectful. Although I did ask Canon, I'm like, do you mind if I get it a little dirty? And they're like, yeah, we don't care. I would say the C80 seems more sealed to me. It's basically the same as the C70, but all it really has is this little vent on the top. So like I would say if it's like raining, I don't quote me on this, but I think it is like weather resistant. It's not like an R3 where it's like a sealed body, but it seems more sealed potentially than the C400. I think the C400 is more like your production camera, but I think it has a bigger fan from what I remember. But yeah, I would have to test it to find out.
All right, next one.
Ricardo, you might be. What's better than for filmmakers, the C80, the Blackmagic Pixis, or a Red Komodo X? I don't know what to pick, but I want a camera to shoot.
Yeah, I think it depends on your type of work. Man, like what a time to be a filmmaker, right? Like there's a lot of cameras. Like when I bought the C500 that I'm shooting on right now, it was like close to 20 grand for everything. And like the C80 is like 5 and it looks exactly the same. So, yeah, I mean, it depends on your lenses. Like I already had Canon lenses, so I wanted to stick kind of with Canon because I had so many lenses and I was familiar with it too. I honestly don't know much about the Blackmagic Pixis. I had the Blackmagic 6K Pro, and the image is cool. And that was the only thing I liked was the image. I hated the form factor, and I forgot what was the other one. Oh, Komodo X.
Komodo X.
Was it Komodo or Komodo X? Yeah,
Komodo.
Komodo X is dope, man. Like I love that camera, but you got to buy a lot of other stuff, and kind of unreliable autofocus and no internal NDs for a lot of the work that I do. It makes it something that I'm not as interested in as the C80.
All right, so if you enjoyed this clip, do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button because we would love for you to join the community. Here, we're just a bunch of nerds who love camera gear and love talking about it every single week, which we do live at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that and you don't miss any of the other clips.